What up? It's your boy Wall Street. Hit my line right here again to hit your line. Thank you very much for joining me today on this fine morning, afternoon, evening, what have you. I'm delighted to be in your presence. And today, now that the NBA trade deadline has concluded and I have recovered from my lack of sleep that was due to the fact that the deadline was so crazy and all these trades would break at like 12:01 in the morning. It was just crazy. But so now that I've had time to digest it, kind of figure out, what really happened, who really won the trade deadline, I want to talk about who had the worst trade deadline. And I know most of you are probably already on the same page with me, because there's no way anyone had a worse NBA trade deadline than the Dallas Mavericks. There's no way. No way. Because when you lose Luka Doncic, the rest is pennies, compared to dollars and $100 bills. Because losing a guy like Luka Doncic, not because he wanted to go somewhere, but because your GM, Nico Harrison, thought that this would be a good idea, is psychotic to me. I think he needs to be checked clinically. Like, someone needs to evaluate this man for psychosis, because I have no clue how this trade happens and no one's like, you know what, maybe we don't trade the best player on our team. Maybe we don't do that, right? Like, it would have been one thing if the Mavericks traded Luka Doncic for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander or Nikola Jokic. But even then, I still don't understand how you rationalize it, right? I don't know if it's a money thing. I don't think it is. Obviously, Luka Doncic would have been entitled to, sign a supermax contract that I think would have been worth like $370 million, like insane stuff. So by being traded to the Lakers, he now loses out on about $115 to $120 million. So that's because when you're with a team, and I might, get this a little mixed up, so I apologize if I do, but when you are on a team for your entire career, right? You have bird rights, you have these things that basically allow you to sign longer deals, and teams can go over a cap to sign you because you've basically put in your service with that team. When you get traded to a different team, it changes, because now you're basically starting that bird rights counter and anything else that has to do with, longevity in terms of signing a deal with that team. It all goes back to zero. So Luka is going to miss out on some money, which is unfortunate. And if I were him, I'd be pretty pissed too, especially because going from Texas to California in terms of taxes, that is a shocking change of pace. So, he went from Texas, where there's no state income tax, to California, which either has the top or second highest income tax. New York is probably either number one or right behind it. So Luka's probably kind of mad. But let's get back to the Mavericks, right? So the Mavericks traded Luka Doncic for Anthony Davis, basically, right? They trade for Luka. The Mavericks traded Luka Doncic along with Maxi Kleber, Markieff Morris in exchange for Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and a 2029 first-round pick. And obviously the Jazz also had to get involved. The Lakers sent the Jazz Jalen Hood-Schifino, a 2025 second, and then another 2025 second from the Clippers. So this is just a bad trade, right? Like, I think Maxi Kleber is a decent player too. He has not been having a good season. And he kind of fell out during the playoffs last year. I think he got injured, and then it hasn't been great since then. Markieff Morris is a great vet. Love Markieff Morris. And I think Max Christie is a great pickup. I think if they hadn't gotten Max Christie in this trade, it would have been an absolute catastrophe, right? Because Anthony Davis already has been announced that he's going to be out multiple weeks. So you have no idea how healthy he's going to be. He's going to turn 32 this year, I think. Luka's going to turn 26, I think, here pretty soon, like end of February. So you really have no certainty that Anthony Davis is going to be able to really like anchor your team here. And Kyrie Irving, obviously great too, but he's also up there in age. He's in his 30s. So, Kyrie was the number one pick the year before Anthony Davis. So now you have the 2011 and the 2011 and the 2012 number one overall picks in Kyrie Irving and Anthony Davis, respectively. You have them on the same team. And Kyrie Irving is obviously an offensive savant, can get to any spot on the court, can shoot the ball extremely well. Anthony Davis, also a very good offensive piece, but his bread and butter is his defense. So he's going to block shots, he's going to get rebounds, he's going to dominate the paint, both offensively and defensively. That's just what he does. But his biggest weakness has been his availability over his career. So obviously when you get older, you don't just become, more athletic and more durable. That's not usually how it happens. It can happen that way, but it's not typical. So I have a feeling, and I don't want to put ill will out there or whatever, but I have a feeling that Anthony Davis is not just going to magically play 82 games every season for the rest of his career. It's just not going to happen. I don't even think he's going to play 65 games every season for the rest of his career. So I think the Mavericks should be happy if he plays 60, right, and is healthy for the playoffs. But I just don't see that happening. And, just to give away a generational talent who came in third in MVP voting last year in Luka Doncic is just absurd to me. Like I said, Nico Harrison needs to be checked. Someone's got to figure out what's going on. And Mark Cuban, obviously, he sold his majority stake. I want to say maybe it was last year. It was in the news recently, in the last year or so. And, he wouldn't have allowed this to happen. Right, so I do feel bad that Mark Cuban just has to be like, why? Why did we do this? Right, so the Lakers really fleeced him, in my opinion. Rob Pelinka really just, pulled the sheet over Nico Harrison's eyes and was like, yeah, everything's going to be fine. You take Anthony Davis. And that's just, I just don't even know. But let's talk about, there's another trade that the Mavericks conducted with the Sixers, which I just didn't understand. So the Mavs traded Quentin Grimes, who you guys may have, seen play for the Knicks, might have seen him play for the Pistons. Quentin Grimes is a great player, in my opinion, and he's young. He's 24 years old. The Mavs traded Quentin Grimes in a second-round pick in this year's upcoming draft for Caleb Martin. And Caleb Martin's a good player, but Caleb Martin and Quentin Grimes are kind of similar, player types. And Caleb Martin is older. And Quentin Grimes is having the best season of his career. So I just I don't understand what's going on in that office. And the fact that you traded another younger player who's having a better season along with draft capital for an older player on a team that's bad? What are we doing? What are we doing here, Nico Harrison? I just I have no clue what is going through his mind. And, I don't mean to hate on the guy, because being an NBA GM is a tough job. But this is there should be caution tape coming up when you see someone doing stuff like this. This is crazy. So I don't think they were involved in any other trades. I think those were the only ones that I saw. I did not see anything else. But boy, oh boy, what are we doing here, Nico Harrison? You just changed the whole outlook of your team's next 10 years in the league. Okay? When Luka Doncic is winning championships in LA, the Mavs are going to be rebuilding. Just point blank. That's just what he basically set them up to do. This is a trade I would do in 2K if I'm trying to just build a team of all created players in the draft. I'm just making a 7'7" center who can play point guard and shoot threes better than Steph Curry. That's coming. right? You cannot predict the future in real life, you know, even if you've got this crystal ball and all that stuff. Like, you're not Nostradamus, Nico Harrison. You don't know what's coming, right? And it's very unlikely that you're going to find another guy as quickly and as easily as you found Luka Doncic. It's just, it does not happen. Guys like that do not grow on trees. They do not walk in off the street. It does not happen. So this is going to be a classic case. You know, this is my personal opinion. I think this is going to be a classic case of you don't know what you have until it's gone. And when Luka goes back to Dallas, play a game there, whew, it's gonna be a show. It's gonna be a show. But the Dallas Mavericks absolutely had the worst NBA trade deadline, not just this year, but that I've ever seen, frankly. You know, like normally it's like, you know, the Heat, obviously they had to get rid of Jimmy Butler, trade him to the Warriors, but like that situation had to happen, right? And they didn't necessarily get a bad haul back. Like, I mean, all in all, you know, there was a lot of, you know, back and forth and different pieces moving, but, you know, they got Andrew Wiggins, they got Davion Mitchell from the Raptors, they got Kyle Anderson, like they got a first round draft pick. Like there's just, they did better in a situation where the dude was begging to be traded than Nico Harrison got for Luka Doncic. It's just insane. So those are my thoughts. I'd love to know what you guys think. Please leave some comments down below so we can talk. As always, if you enjoyed the video, please give me a like, a thumbs up. I would greatly appreciate it. If you're not already subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Without further ado, I'm going to let you guys carry on with your day. Have a good one. Stay safe. Handle business. Stand on business. Peace.